Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the off season. Today I have a driver review for you of the PXG O211 driver. Let's jump into it. All right, so if you haven't yet, watch my What's in the Bag driver video because that'll give some context as to why I'm testing drivers this off season. So watch that first before you watch the rest of this video. Now, why did I test this driver? Why did I order this driver? What's the point? 6 weeks ago, this driver went on sale for $150 Canadian. I think it was $180 all in with tax, shipped for free to my door. It's almost too good of a deal not to try regardless of anything. So I thought, okay, I might as well just investigate this driver just purely based off price point. But there was also another motive, which if you've watched my What's in the Bag driver videos, that I want to move to a 10.5 degree driver off of my 9 degree driver. At that time, I thought, okay, this is a very cheap way to test that theory and see if that style of driver could potentially be beneficial to me. Now, first thing with this driver that's extremely impressive is the packaging. It comes in grade A, perfect PXG packaging for a cheaper product line from them. This is extremely well done. So the fact that a $150 driver was given to me in such great packaging is incredible. So already with the packaging, it feels pretty premium despite the fact that this is their lowest tier driver that they offer, right? The O211 line, from my understanding, is their beginner entry model into the PXG lineup. Now, to be clear, this is the previous version of the O211. They've since released a new model, which is part of the reason why I think they were liquidating it at the price they did. So I can't speak on what the new model does, but right out of the box, it feels very premium and is a great customer experience. Now, the next thing is from a look and feel perspective, the club doesn't feel cheap. You would think for a cheaper driver, there would be some obvious things that would make a club feel inherently cheap. But this doesn't feel cheap. It feels pretty cool. All of this, I've never owned a PXG club before, so I was just also very curious. The grip that they put on it is their standard PXG grip. That's also pretty solid. I got a Tensei AV White X-Flex 65 gram shaft in it included. So overall, for $150, you really cannot ask for more. And that was really encouraging too. Now, in terms of specs, obviously I ordered it at 10.5 and 45.5 degrees of length. So now, how does it play? How does it work in a real situation? Took it to the range, hit it great. Took it on course, hit it great. Hit some great drives. Here's a drive at Cultus that is quite terrifying. This fairway is 37 yards wide. I hit it great. Now, where rubber kind of hit the road was obviously when I took this to a more full-length golf course, right? With Cultus Lake, my home course, being an executive course, I don't really get to go full rip. That's where I saw the one big problem this driver has. And that's just, the ball flight is just very floaty, and there's just not enough pop off the driver. There just isn't. I noticed on this course, I was in spots that I normally am way past, and I was hitting the ball well, and I just still couldn't get to my normal spots. On one of the holes, I did a test with my buddy Chris's driver where I hit a drive with the PXG, and then I hit a drive with his Rogue Max LS 10.5 driver, and the Max LS went 15 yards further on arguably not as good of a swing. So I was bummed because from a feel and swing perspective, this driver is great. I had it set in the flat setting, and it was just auto fade out there. It was great, but you could just tell I'm giving up too much for what it is. So I brought it to the shop at Genuine to hit some balls, and I'll show you guys here some swings, just a couple that kind of show an example of where this driver falls short. So this first swing here, as you can see, took a big rip at it. I'm trying to hit a draw on this one to see if I can just get more out of it, okay? And I can't even get this to clear 300 yards, okay? Here's another one. This is like trying to fade it now. And again, it's just floaty. It just floats a ton, okay? And again, can't even get it out there. And I'm even trying to push my swing a little much here, and I can't get even the swing speed up with this driver. It's like 116 miles per hour is where I peak out at for some reason. I can't get it to go more. But if I look here at the triple diamond, 10.5 degrees with a Tensei AV White shaft, okay, very similar setup. You look at this swing, it's drastically different in terms of ball flight, ball speed, and swing speed. Immediately see the numbers jump, and also the spin is in a more reasonable window. Now, I am looking for more spin right now. I'm purposefully trying to get a driver that, you know, flies 305 to 315 and has a tighter spin window. So I was hopeful that maybe I could achieve that with a $150 driver. Unfortunately, that's not gonna be the case. But as you can see, there's just some inherent weaknesses as to how the PXG is set up. Here are a couple more swings of me in the simulator with Rich, just kind of describing how the driver feels. See, it just floats. This is the floatiest driver. 170 ball speed. Like, that was good. And it only carried 286. What was that? It's so floaty. It's funny though, I'll be honest, not in the simulator, I hit this very well.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Super high, super floaty. Goes nowhere. But if I try and rip at it, see, it just floats. I went nowhere. Nowhere. I love this driver, but it goes nowhere. And it spun 4,100 RPM. So now if I just take this is the Callaway Rogue Max Triple Diamond LS 10.5. That was a bad swing. It popped straight up in the air, but it's still doing more. So unfortunately, this driver is amazing, but it just doesn't have the pop it needs to be competitive or, in my opinion, recommendable. Maybe for a very beginner to golf where you're not so concerned and just making contact is a premium, then totally fine. But for the value that distance adds to your score, it's tough to recommend anything that I inherently know just doesn't have the pop it needs off the face, at least in my experience. These are my 2 cents on the product. I love this driver, but unfortunately, I can't put it in play. Maybe I'll be able to try the Gen 5 driver and see if maybe that's a little different. Who knows? But thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Join me on my off-season journey, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.